This is the oil pump shaft. Comes out of it. New oil pump. Milling pump. Good pump. Probably the best pump you can buy. I'm gonna set that in the pan. So the next thing, this is a baffle, oil pan baffle. Kind of fits in the pan. It kind of forces the oil away from the crankshaft, because you know you don't want crankshaft dipping in the oil all the time. So they put this baffle in them. It's a good setup. Most performance engines have this baffle installed, so that's a good thing. So that's the oil pan baffle. Taking that off. So we're down to pistons and rods, main bearing, rod bearings, such as that. So we're going to turn it over a little bit, and it's probably going to couple rod caps off. We're going to bump a couple rod caps off and just kind of take a look at the rod bearings. See if we can determine what size the crankshaft is at this point. Oh yeah, and it's not good. So this crankshaft is 10 thousandths. Been ground 10 thousandths. You can maybe get a close-up view. You can feel how rough it is, or see how rough it is, and you can tell that it's just had all sorts of trash run through the bearings. So this is all I need to see right here. I know it needs to come apart all the way now. Crankshaft got some wear on it. Not sure if it will polish or not. We'll just have to check that and see. But definitely got to come apart. So that's where we're at right now. Not good. Not good for the customer, but we've identified the problem. So now all we got to do is get the solution to the problem, which is why he brought it to us. Go ahead and knock some. Take this other rod off. Same thing on this journal. So you see that shiny copper looking spot. That's where a nice sized bit of trash has gotten through there and went around the bearing, and has actually scarred the bearing all the way around. It's real rough as well. So just another indication of the damage that's been done by the having the little metal shavings and fragments of metal particles running all through the engine, through the oiling system. So that is where we're at so far. So we're going to go ahead and knock these pistons out of it real quick. Going to go ahead and jerk the motor mounts off of it, get the pistons all knocked out of it, and then go from there. See, a problem right here is actually galled it up in the piston. This rod should turn a lot freer than that, but all that metal debris that's gone through the engine has gotten into this area right here where the piston pin rotates in the piston, and it's got it locked up pretty good. So should turn a lot freer. I thought it turned over kind of hard. It didn't turn real smooth and free. So we have identified that problem as well. And again, this is all a product of debris, metal debris, you know, getting into the oiling system and just pumping it all the way through. So I don't know. It's a sad thing. Sad thing to have this nice of a build and then have something like that happen. So we're going to put the caps back on the rods. Of course, anybody that's ever built engines knows that these rods and caps are machined together and you have to keep them matched up. So that's what we're doing. Number two coming out. Okay, we got number two out. You know, if you remember, number two is the one that had the large debris run through the bearing, and this is the top side of the bearing. It's the same thing. You can see the track through it where it's had debris run through this rod bearing. Again, this one's not quite as tight as it is the other one, but it's really tighter than it should be. One thing to note about Pontiac's bearing has a rod lock in it, or excuse me, a bearing lock in it. You can see the bearing lock right there, and it's got the same tab on the bearing, and that's what locks the bearing in place. But on a Pontiac, the rod orientation is the bearing lock goes towards the camshaft, so it goes to the inside of the engine. So that's very critical. The way these pistons and rods are set up, that you put them in, you orient them correctly. So rod lock facing the camshaft, and which is what we have here. That looks correct. We'll verify that, but that should be correct. So we're going to push this one out. This one's out. That one is really locked up, really locked up. They go lock to lock. You'll reassemble it. Bearing lock to bearing lock. Number two. So basically this is the number two main. It's down to copper. You can see that copper showing. All the original babbitt off the bearing is gone. You're actually down to the copper. And that is strictly caused by metal going through the engine. Number three main. Not as bad, but still getting down to the copper. All right. floor main, and this is the thrust. There's the crankshaft in play, back and forth. It looks fine, the thrust looks fine, but again, the bearing, as you can see, is down to the copper. And the rear one. So my question is answered. He used a rope seal on the rear. I personally don't like rope seals, but sometimes that's all you can get. In this particular case, though, however, they do make a little seal replacement upgrade, and that's probably what we'll put back in. Oh, it does look like it was actually sealed pretty good. So I actually don't think it ran long enough to really show a leak. All right, ready to pick this heavy thing up. All right, we got her up. Up a little bit. The customer is coming by tomorrow to take pictures and kind of let us give him an assessment basically of what we found and what our actual recommendations are. So we'll take care of that with him tomorrow. See how he wants to proceed. Anyway, so we're gonna roll this thing over here out of the way so I can kind of clean up my mess. So that completes the teardown. We'll do a speeded up video so you can watch the complete teardown in, you know, probably I don't know, hopefully 20 minutes or so, so you can kind of see what goes through tearing down an engine, make an assessment of what's going on with it, and kind of getting a general idea of what it's going to take to repair it, get it back going again. You know, here at Benny Auto Parts, we got a saying: we make old new again, and that's our goal, and that's what we're going to do with this engine here. So, thanks for watching, and hope to see you next week. So, I'm going to put a wrap on this for today. Covered up, just for the sake of covering it up. And we're going to call it a night or an afternoon.